Chelsea manager Enzo Maresca blows hot in a post-match conference. From the back of a 2-0 victory against Everton at Stamford Bridge on Sunday, Enzo Maresca, in a post-match conference, said he lacked the love and support from Chelsea. Hello guys, hope you all are doing well. Welcome to my channel. In this video, I will bring you up to speed with the latest on Enzo Maresca. What he actually said in his post-match conference, why he made that comment, and what led to it. So stick around as I take you through the latest regarding Enzo Maresca. So check this out from Best Jacob. Enzo Maresca has an internal issue at Chelsea, and his frustration has been brewing for a while. It is understood Maresca was surprised at the lack of support after the defeat to Atlanta. Interesting. Enzo Maresca said he is surprised of his lack of love after Chelsea defeat to Atlanta in the UEFA Champions League. Lack of support from who? From the fans or from the board of Chelsea ownership? So, we'll get clarification on that, because Enzo Maresca cannot make such kind of statement disregarding the over 1,000 fans that traveled to Bergamo in Italy to actually saw the match between Atlanta versus Chelsea. So, when Enzo Maresca was asked, here's what Enzo Maresca said. Enzo Maresca on the last 48 hours comment. Worst 48 hours since I joined the club because people didn't support me or the team in general. I love the fans and we are very happy with the fans. So, invariably, Enzo Maresca was not referring to the fans. But who are the people that he claimed didn't support him? Could it be the board member? That is a big question. Because for Enzo Maresca to actually make this kind of statement in a post-match conference coming from the back of a 2-0 victory over Everton, I guess we should have been talking about the way forward and how we continue to manage the team in order to get results. But Enzo Maresca in a post-match conference said this has been his worst 48 hours since he joined Chelsea, which means prior to the match against Everton, from the build-up of that game, Enzo Maresca has been actually nursing something in his mind. And that is why the earliest report said that Enzo Maresca has issues with Chelsea and his frustration has been brewing for a while. Why being frustrated? Why is Enzo Maresca beginning to sound like he's left alone in the job? But what is actually the cause of the problem? Why did Enzo Maresca sound this way? Could it be because, to me, it is not just the loss that Chelsea lost to Atlanta alone. It's as a result of the inconsistency of Chelsea Football Club since the campaign began. And before the Atlanta game, Chelsea actually went into that game with 2 draws and a loss. We drew against Arsenal 1-1, drew against Bournemouth at the Vitality Stadium, and lost 3-1 to Leeds United. So the loss to Atlanta, could it be what defines Enzo Maresca's frustration and lack of support? But the big question is, where is he lacking the support? Is it from the ownership of the club or from the fans? We got a clarification from that of what Enzo Maresca said. I love the fans and we are very happy with the fans. So, invariably, Enzo Maresca doesn't have problem with the fans. His frustration is not with the fans. But then, what is the genesis of Enzo Maresca's frustration? Could it be as a result of his tactical approach to game or his team rotation? Check this out from Best Jacob. Enzo Maresca has an internal issue at Chelsea, expected to clarify his comment before Cardiff. Chelsea Football Club insider insists Maresca wasn't singling out any individual. Frustration brewing for a while. Rotation debated. Wearing non-Chelsea clothing unrelated. That says it. I know some of us actually noticed Enzo Maresca's outfit in the touchline against Everton, because personally, I was shocked. When camera focused on Enzo Maresca, I saw that the tracksuit Enzo Maresca was putting on was not having Chelsea logo on it. But I felt probably he just decided to put on its own clothes. But not knowing that something has been cooking up. And like we always say in Nigeria in Pidgin, the thing don't fool in Bel Air, sewing gas talk. What that simply means, Enzo Maresca has been having nursing something in his mind, and this is opportunity for him to talk. And why waited until you actually got a win against Everton What would have happened if we had actually lost or still pulled a draw against Everton? Does it mean he wouldn't have talked or he wouldn't have spoken out? Questions, lots of questions begging for answers. So, this is what Ben Jacob went on to report. Frustration with Enzo Maresca, rotation problem, and also putting on clothing that is Chelsea unrelated. So all of this is what have actually caused Maresca's frustration. But then, Ben Jacobs went on to give us detail of what Enzo Maresca's frustration is all about. Check this out. Enzo Maresca reveals the build-up to Everton was his worst since joining Chelsea. This is the reason why I praise the players, because with so many problems, they are doing very well after a complicated week. The last 48 hours has been the worst 48 hours since I joined the club because many people didn't support us. The same question again. Many people didn't support us. Who are these many people? That is a question that is begging for answer. He has earlier clarified that it is not the fans, that he loves the fans and are very much happy with the fans. Okay, let's move on. Maresca was pressed whether his issue was internal or with the Chelsea fans and added, in general, I love the fans. I am very happy with the fans. So, Maresca's frustration is not with the fans. But one thing I want to let Maresca know at this point is, as a manager in football, it is either you get praised or you get criticized in the role of your job. And one thing is sure, fans will always come out to praise you, or fans will criticize you. They will praise you when you are doing the right thing and giving results. Because what fans are actually interested in is just result. Fans are result oriented. And once you're not getting the result and you are losing games, not being consistent, the criticism will always come in. And that is just the kind of job Enzo Maresca currently is having. So every criticism that comes in from the fans is for the betterness of the club. One thing is sure, the image of any football club rests on two things. One, the ownership of the club that actually brings the financial backing in order to keep the day-to-day activities going. And secondly, the fans. Because the fans are like an advertisement base that actually sing the praises of the club in good times. And that is what actually increased fan base when we talk about fan base in football. So, Enzo Maresca have actually clarified that he is not referring to the fans. But then, we'll get to know who Enzo Maresca is actually referring to. That is lacking the support and love they should have shown to him. So Enzo Maresca went on to say, the Chelsea boss is believed to understand the logic of Chelsea rotation policy and also want to ease the burden on certain players. But when the chopping and changing backfires, including the loss to Leeds, he feels he is being scapegoated, often via the media, despite rotation being a core part of Chelsea's strategy. Sometimes something that is encouraged, not simply done out of necessity. Maresca has also had a deal with the long-term absence of Levi Colwill due to an ACL injury and said publicly he wanted another defender over the summer, but Chelsea recruitment team decided against it. And Cole Palmer has been absent with a groin injury in recent weeks, while Moses Caicedo missed the Everton game. Maresca feels like when form dips, those mitigating circumstances aren't always appreciated. Lots of things Enzo Maresca have actually come out here to say. Now, talking about team rotation, personally, I've also had my fair critics when it comes to Enzo Maresca's rotation. Am I against team rotation? Not at all. I have said it several times in my videos. For clubs to actually engage in rotation, it's just the best way to ensure that players are actually kept fit and injuries are reduced, most especially when lots of fixtures are being congested, or when you have fixtures being congested at a particular period of time. Most especially in December like this, where you have lots of fixtures, lots of games, that you play games every 2 to 3 days. Rotation is being encouraged. Personally, I encourage it. But one thing I'm always against, when you want to make your rotation, make your team selection in such a way that it will create a balance in the team, and such that no department in the field should actually suffer. When you have a weak defense, try to ensure that the midfield actually have that strength that can cover for that defense line that is weak. and also ensure that the attacking line also are good enough in order to get things done. That is what I see rotation to be all about. But Enzo Maresca, most of the times, his rotation is awkward. That is my personal opinion. I just have to say. So, nobody is against rotation, because the point he's trying to make is that rotation is encouraged in Chelsea Football Club. It's not done out of necessity. It is something that Chelsea Football Clubs encourage. In fact, it is part of the structure. And we agree to that 100%. 100%. The manager has the right to rotate his squad. But then, one thing that comes with rotation, because one reason why Chelsea currently are yet to get shirt sponsor, because that is a different topic for another day. No investor will actually want to come and put its money in a place whereby he wants his product to be advertised internationally and ends up being advertised locally. That is a shortage on the part of the investor. Why am I saying that? An investor cannot come and say, because you are playing in the Champions League, this is why I'm investing here. But at the end, we play this season, next season we end up not going to the Champions League. Well, how do you think the investors will feel? They will feel downcast, and they will feel they are lost. Because the reason why investors actually comes in is to ensure that their brand are being advertised internationally. And when it comes to club football, UEFA Champions League is the platform that actually provides that avenue for advertisement. Not when an investor actually comes in and invests, but you end up not qualifying for Champions League. The only adverts they saw is in the Premier League or in the Carabao Cup. That was not why they actually come for the investment. That is just it. No investor goes into business to actually lose. All they actually aim at is profit. So Enzo Maresca went on to say that he requested for a defender when Levi Colwill actually sustained injury. Well, at this point in time, he actually did that, but did he press on for that? Enzo Maresca is in the best position to actually let the club see reasons why we need those players, or why we need a replacement for Levi Colwill, who is out with ACL for a long time. But he said the club actually turned that down. They kicked against it, that the solution should be sorted out internally. He went on to talk about Moses Caicedo missing Everton clash. We all know that Moses Caicedo had been on suspension due to the red card he sustained in the game against Arsenal, and as such was given a 3-match ban. Talking about Cole Palmer has been out injured with groin injury. Yes, Cole Palmer, no doubt, the best player currently we are having in Chelsea Football Club. We actually saw the few minutes he actually played in the game against Everton. And all of this is coming from the back of the victory against Everton. I think the best time Enzo Maresca should have made this outburst was when Chelsea were still crawling and trying to see how we'll scrape results from games. Not when you have managed to come up with something, because currently, all thanks to Enzo Maresca, he did well, trying to sort out, and currently, the pairing of Wesley Fofana and Trevor Chalobah is currently the best pairing we have in the team. And kudos to Enzo Maresca, not after lots of trials anyway. They have actually tried different pairing, and at the end, we've actually gotten one. The pairing, the understanding between Trev Chalobah and Wesley Fofana is top-notch. Credit to Maresca. So, in my opinion, this shouldn't have been the best time for Enzo Maresca to make this outburst. He would have made this outburst long before now. But then, we move on to see how the whole thing unfolds. But in all of this that Enzo Maresca have been saying, what is the position of Chelsea ownership? What are they saying? Check this out. Chelsea owner remains calm after Maresca's surprise outburst, expecting him to stress that there is no specific issue with an owner or sporting director, and believe he has adapted well since joining from Leicester City in summer 2024. The Italian will be reviewed this summer as part of a pre-planned and two-way assessment. Well, that is the position of Chelsea ownership currently regarding Enzo Maresca's outburst in his post-match conference. They expected him to stress that there is no specific issue with the owner, but that is yet to be clarified. But they still went on to say that as part of the club assessment policy, that Enzo Maresca will be assessed at the end of the season. Assessed on what? Based on his performance. Enzo Maresca joined Chelsea last summer after much struggles. Chelsea struggled in majority part of the season. Almost the same period in December last year. But then, Chelsea have a good turnaround in a Premier League game against Fulham at Craven Cottage, where Chelsea came from behind to defeat Fulham by 2-0. Went on to defeat Manchester United. That was how Chelsea's season blew up again. And Chelsea ended up finishing in the top 4 of the Premier League season, qualifying for Champions League. That was a good one for Enzo Maresca, and that will be a plus to his CV when he is being assessed. And also, the achievement of the Club World Cup, was top-notch. I'm not taking anything away from the victory or the success we had during the Club World Cup. Enzo Maresca did very well with his team, and he had my accolades to that. And also, the Conference League. Even though personally I will not write Conference League, it's assumed that it is ideal that Chelsea participated in the Conference League and went on to win it. Where there would have been problem is if we had participated there and we didn't win it, because it was a league below our level. Yes, the Conference League is a league below Chelsea level as a club. So taking part of it was just a plus, and going on to win it was top-notch. It actually shows the level where we are as a football club. So Enzo Maresca will be assessed at the end of the season. And believe me, with this outburst Enzo Maresca have made in this post-match conference, if Enzo Maresca did not make Champions League football this season, Enzo Maresca will be shown the exit. If Enzo Maresca did not qualify Chelsea for Champions League football next season, Enzo Maresca will be sacked. But at this point in time, I will say this. I can actually predict that in all of this, everything will calm down. For sure, it will. But in a situation whereby things doesn't calm and the situation continue till the end of the season, and Enzo Maresca didn't make Champions League football and he ended up being sacked, I want to believe Paul Winstanley and Stewart, as the sport director, should also leave the club. Because under Todd Boehly, it has been from Graham Potter, after Thomas Tuchel was sacked, from Thomas Tuchel to Graham Potter, from Graham Potter to Frank Lampard on an interim basis, to Mauricio Pochettino, and now to Enzo Maresca. 5 managers in the space of 3 years. And still, everything is still looking shaky. I think if Enzo Maresca is shown the exit, Paul Winstanley also should be shown the exit. Because as sporting directors, they have been the one in charge of managers. And if Enzo Maresca happened to be what they brought in as a club, because personally, as a fan, I had my reservation when Enzo Maresca was brought in as Chelsea manager from Leicester City, from Championship. But as the season progresses, from last year, I've observed Enzo Maresca, and I've actually went down to give him all of my support. Tactically, he is sound, but sometimes, as a manager, he actually misses it. And whenever he missed it, and he knows he has missed it, with all humility, Enzo Maresca will come out, just like he did after Chelsea were having consistent red card. He came out and actually apologized that he would have done better whenever Chelsea are down to 10 men. So that is the position of the club owners, because they've actually said the club owners remain calm after Enzo Maresca's outburst, but they are just observing things. And at the end of the season, Enzo Maresca will be assessed, and that was part of Enzo Maresca's contract terms. So it wouldn't be something of probably they want to use it against him. No, the assessment is not going to be used against him. But if the assessment goes against him and he didn't meet the threshold, he didn't meet the target that the club have actually set for him, then that is where the assessment might just be against him. It might just be shown the exit. And the target for this season again for Enzo Maresca, let's not forget, the club have stated that severally, is still a top 4 finish. So we'll wait to see how that will end at the end of the season. So Maresca comments an internal issue will prompt further conversation as all parties try and get on the same page. Definitely, I think at this point we hope that Chelsea ownership need to look into it. Call Enzo Maresca, have that conversation so that both parties will end up being on the same page, because it is now very clear from Enzo Maresca's outburst that he is not getting the support he needs from the club ownership. Clear. He has stated it that he loves the fan. He doesn't have any problem with the fans. He loves the fans, and everybody are in love with the fans. So, this is the report that came out from Kerry & Gills. The pressure is on Maresca from now on to nail his rotation policy. Chelsea are satisfied with their squad and are not planning to splash the cash in January. So it's a statement that looks like still coming from the owner side. because with what the owner has said, the pressure is now on Enzo Maresca to nail his rotation policy. Whatever he wants to do, let him be doing it. But what the club are interested on is to get result, because they've stated it, whether it cries from now till the end of season. In January, Chelsea are not splashing the cash to sign any player. That is the stand of Chelsea Football Club currently. So the pressure is on Enzo Maresca. Ensure you use your rotation policy very well. Personally, I am not against rotation, but all you just need to do, whenever you are going for a game, the competition should matter to you. When you hear UEFA Champions League, treat it as a UEFA Champions League, and as such, field in the players that could easily get the job done. You don't treat UEFA Champions League like Carabao Cup and rotate your players to the point that when we look at your selection, even the fans, we are not managers, but tactically, we understand those games. We know when you are fielded in. We know when you are fielded in the best leg that can actually give us result. And we know when you actually field the best leg, but yet the result didn't come out. We'll still end up appreciating you. That goes to show we've seen a better team. The opponent was quite much, probably the opponent was quite more a better team than we do. So, you are human, we are human. We understand all of this game. We understand the nitty-gritty of the football. But when it comes to the team rotation, it rests on you as the manager. Nail your rotation policy and ensure you are getting the right selection to actually get the job done for Chelsea. But here is where Enzo Maresca's problem might just be. Personally, it's my opinion. This is coming from Ben Jacobs. Chelsea's owner are known to appreciate Arsenal model, and specifically Mikel Arteta, who also won a trophy in his first season at the Emirates Stadium and went through tough spell as well. Could it be this is where Enzo Maresca felt like he's not giving the needed support he so desired? Because the Chelsea owners are known to appreciate Arsenal model. They appreciate what Mikel Arteta is doing. So invariably, there's a comparison with Mikel Arteta and Enzo Maresca. Because they went on to say Mikel Arteta actually won trophy in his first season. What trophy was that? Was that not Community Shield? Was it Community Shield or FA Cup? I can't actually remember. But then, and he has actually built on from there. So, if you have a manager, this is my advice to Chelsea owner. Comparing Enzo Maresca to Mikel Arteta is uncalled for. Because we can't tell where Enzo Maresca's frustration is coming out from. For him to actually come out to say that he lacks the support of the club. That he lacks the support of the club. Lacking the support of the club could be from the fans or from the ownership. But then, he has actually come out to clarify that he loves the fans and are feeling very well with the fans. So which means the support he's not getting is from the manager. Just like he stated, that when he needed players, they decided to kick against it. They didn't give him players, knowing fully well that Chelsea's best defender at that time, talking about Levi Colwill, actually sustained a long-time injury. So he needed support at that point in time. But the club, which is now the ownership, turned their back against him. So, comparing Enzo Maresca to Mikel Arteta, in my opinion, is uncalled for. Mikel Arteta should be in his 5th or 6th season with Arsenal currently. So you can see the consistency and the time that Arsenal as a club has given to Mikel Arteta to actually build what we are seeing now. But then, we are waiting to see results out of it. That is the reality. He has built it for several seasons. Finishing seconds have not been what Arsenal fans are actually longing for. We appreciate the consistency of Mikel Arteta. He's doing quite well as a manager, and he has a formidable team currently. And in the last summer, Arsenal went big into the market, got him the needed player he desired, and this season, Arsenal currently are flying in all fronts. Both in the Premier League, they are standing on top. They are sitting top as the leader, and also in the UEFA Champions League standing, Arsenal are also flying high at that point. So, consistency is key in this situation now, because Mikel Arteta has been given all the needed support he actually desires from the Arsenal board. Can the same be said of Chelsea owner to Enzo Maresca? That is a big question. Drop your thoughts down below in the comment section. But in all of this, Matt Law has an advice for Enzo Maresca, which means invariably what Matt Law is trying to say is that Enzo Maresca shouldn't have made this outburst. And what did Matt Law say? Check this out. If Enzo Maresca's complaint was at the owners or sporting director, then I am afraid he's fighting a losing battle. To some extent, I quite agree with Matt Law, with what he has said here, because if his battle is with the club ownership or the sporting director, I'm afraid too he's fighting a lose battle, because You can't go head on with your employer. This is someone who employ you. When you have a request, when you have a complaint, there is an official way you can present this request and get it sorted, that going out to the public to actually spill it in this manner. We can take a clue from what happened or from what is happening to Liverpool superstar player, talking about Mohamed Salah. There have been an issue. We never knew, not until Mohamed Salah was granted an interview. And in that interview, Mohamed Salah also blew hot. And what is the end result? Currently now, his employer, who has actually given every backing to the club manager, has actually instructed that Mohamed Salah be left out of the squad. And that is the situation with Mohamed Salah currently at Liverpool. So what do you make of the situation with Enzo Maresca at Chelsea? Do you see Enzo Maresca coming out of this and still remaining as Chelsea manager? Drop your thoughts down below. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Catch you in the next video. Bye.